Hi everybody, I have made a purse a while back that I really love. It's got 3 pockets on this side. You can see the fringe, and on this side it's got another 3 pockets, and this is wool cloth that I felted, that I wove and then felted. So it is the very essence of a slow cloth bag. And then it has these cotton handles on it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% on the handles. I feel like a handmade purse like this should either have leather handles or maybe more hand-woven cloth for the handles. So let me show you how this is put together. It's kind of, it's very simple but effective, because the way the handles are put on, it creates those 3 pockets on either side that are on the outside. But then I also add a little piece of cloth to make a pocket on each side, on the inside as well. And then the handle is a structural element. It's not putting any stress on the edge here. It's a part of the structure of the bag. So the tape begins right here. You can see this little place, and then it comes down and around up to the other side, and then you turn it around, and then it goes down and around and up to the other side, and then back to that original seam. Okay, so I did a little bit of math and realized that I would need to weave 150 inches worth of tape in wool so that it would shrink down to be just right for a handbag. So I started looking at Inkle looms, because they're ideal for making narrow 1-inch size up to like the guitar strap size. They could be a good bit wider. There are Inkle looms out there that are perfect for weaving those narrow pieces of cloth like that. So I looked at them online and I thought, well, what's the possibility that we could make one? I can either spend a couple $100 and buy, some beautiful Inkle loom somebody else has made, or I can just check in with my husband and see if maybe he's got some little bits and pieces laying around that he wouldn't mind putting together a Inkle loom for me. And I'm going to share with you the result. When your husband is a master craftsman and you ask him, do you think you could make a loom? You never really know what's gonna happen. Hello, my darling.
Hello. Yes. How may I help you?
So you have made something for me.
Yes.
And what is this thing?
It's a loom.
It is a loom?
I haven't got an inkling. But I thought I'll make it anyway.
Well, you've made things that you haven't had an inkling for, haven't you?
Yeah. So that's an inkling loom, isn't it?
It's an Inkle loom.
Inkle loom, that's right.
It's your version of an Inkle loom.
Well, not my version, it's just stuff I had. So it turned out different than what we saw.
Okay, so the white pieces, where did the white pieces, the wood come from for this?
That was a small piece of plywood that I had as a jig for making another invention, prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of a mock-up setup. That's why there are additional screw holes that are not used, because they come from me having used it for something else.
Okay.
And and after I was done with that prototype, I used it as a cutting board for cutting felt and leather and other things. That's why there are thin lines, cut lines in the surface.
Nice.
But who cares?
Tell us about the piece of wood on the bottom.
The piece of wood on the bottom.
Can you lift it just a little bit so they can see this at home?
The piece of wood at the bottom here is a piece of cherry.
It's beautiful.
Yes. And that's also an offcut because I made a couple of raised flower beds. And this is from a round cherry limb. I cut 1/4 out in order to make 3/4 corner pieces for our raised beds, and this is sort of an offcut. I mean, it was longer, and I made it shorter so that the missus is happy with it.
Okay.
And it provides the mass. It provides the mass to make it stable. It's also hand chiseled and joined into here. So this is a very nice tight T-joint, stable
piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and the idea is that you put your feet on it and then rock it forward towards you on this edge. And it,
although, as I have sat in front of it, I don't know that it's going to be necessary to use it that way because it's a comfortable height. I mean, we have it setting up on a block at the moment just so that it's in the screen with him.
yes.
But okay, so tell me about the dowel rods. I know that you had most of them already.
That's correct, yes. Those smaller 7/8 of an inch dowel rods, they come from something that you had squirreled away, and you just handed me a pile of, here, can you use those? These 3 fat ones, they come from big long rod that I've got left over from a project. And yeah, and on most Inkle looms this is simply a straight piece of wood, but considering that what you're weaving on, what you're working on comes here, I thought we'll raise this up so that Carmen has got lots of space to work on her Inkle? On the Inkle? I haven't got an inkling. Anyway, all the way up to here without bumping into schnitzel.
With a bunch of stuff,
yes.
And then demonstrate this cool feature. I've never seen this aspect on an Inkle loom, but you have created some flexibility in this project. Okay, so
yeah, so this thing at the back here allows literally tension adjustment for all the pins, and then also adjusts the height here in the front, the work height. Okay, so you can adjust if you would like this to be different. You can have it different, and then you also we learned that as you do your inkling, the warp gets shorter, and therefore you have to allow for the setup to contract, and that's what the horizontal slot is for. And there goes the spring in here. I've got it out in the shop anyway, and so the horizontal slot allows the whole contraption to get smaller. Okay,
that's cool. So I'm going to start here, I guess.
Yeah.
Come up and then down, and because I realize I just want it to be
a
little shorter than what you may be.
Oh, perfect!
See?
Look at that.
Okay.
Because
so.
Oops, you don't need that anymore.
Well, I might add one.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? If I do this, maybe that adds enough length. Let's add another one.
The maximum length of Inkle you can create on this is 5.5 yards.
Okay.
Actually 5.6, but stuff gets smaller.
Okay, so I think that's where I want it to be. So I didn't tie that very well, but that gives you a feel for the flexibility, because I think what you had intended was that it come this way, and then here, and then here, and then here, here,
yes,
here,
boom, boom, boom,
there, here,
no.
and then down and over?
No.
Or was it
there, and then yes.
And
you've got it. It's just
basically like so, and then you're back at the beginning. So
yes.
That's really cool.
And those we simply used a couple of additional fat dowels here to indicate these are the return guys.
Those are the major.
Because
the major
otherwise it might be visually a little bit too confusing with having so many pegs on this thing.
But the pegs translate into potential length and a lot of flexibility, so that's pretty cool. So this is, you consider this a prototype?
Yes.
And so we'll see how it goes, folks. I'm gonna go choose yarn. It's always the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well this is
have fun.
Let's go ahead and move it off of the
pedestal, the soapbox. Yes.
Okay, and let's lower this.
You want it lower?
I would like it lower.
You would like to have it lower. That is an odd request to have. Sorry. Oh, like so? Like so?
Like that.
Okay.
Just like so.
Good. Then you get it like so.
And now it's tight.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be very comfortable.
Yeah.
I like how sculptural it turned out. And like you mentioned earlier, I can put my feet on the base and pull it towards me and weave that way. That's cool.
See?
It is. And I think some of the design is inspired by your daughter's harp, is it not?
Yes,
Because
you're
it
correct.
has, there's a lot of, I mean, those are
Paddle harp, yeah.
pulled towards you, and then you're working out here.
That's
So
correct.
it's a very similar design,
Yeah, it's-
inspired by that.
Yeah, it's like a paddle harp in reverse looking at you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, also the
Oh, because the curvy end is what goes over your shoulder,
yes,
right?
yes, but also the idea of tilting it along one common thing towards you, you know.
So I could work like so.
Yes. And then have it come up again, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the lever.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
Cool.
Well, folks, I think it's time to go get some yarn and give this baby a whirl and see how it goes.
Warp speed.
Warp speed. Andale, warp speed. Well,
Okay.
this is what happens when you have an inventor and a weaver in the same house.
Ah! It'll never work.
It'll work. It'll definitely work.
It's kind of cool.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
I love it.
Yep.
Yep. All right, I really
Cool.
am going to go choose some yarn.
Yes. And I'll bring your spring in.
Okay. Well, I have finished weaving this piece of tape. So the tape comes to here, and then I have a little bit of yarn in the middle. But I'm also going to take a minute and take the heddles off so that I can store those and use them again. So there's one. I'm just going to hang them here for the moment. There's the heddles, and they're ready to be used again. Come back here. Now I'm gonna, whoops, there's one more. I missed one. Okay, one last one. Okay, now I'm going to just slide this off, and then it comes off very easily. How cool is that? Now, I don't think I'm going to cut it. I think what I'm going to do is just measure, because I want to know the difference between the current length and the length it will be when it comes out of the washer, because I'm going to send it through and the washer and felt it really nicely. So we're at 50 inches now. And then we are at 50 inches again, so that's 100 inches. And we've made it to, okay. I was going for 150 inches, and we are here at 150 now, plus a couple of extra inches, yay! Plus an additional 4 inches, yay! Okay, so I've got a couple of extra inches to play with. I am tempted to cut this. Aha. And then just give it one big knot, because once it's felted, I can okay, maybe not quite like that. Okay, I'm putting a knot just in the fringe. Just in the fringe. So it will be easy just to cut that when it comes out of the wash. And I'm trying to get it right down on the very end on just the fringe. Let me show you what I mean. So the tape ends here, and then I have the knot here in the fringe. And that will make it so that I can see how much the cloth changes in the wash. But yeah, this is a lot. There is a lot here. And it's interesting to me to notice that the beginning and the end are not much different. So perhaps this cloth will be, it's just a, this was a trial to see how consistent it would be, just without even paying attention, without even really minding if it ended up, because this was definitely a trial run just to kind of get a feel for it. Okay, so what I'm noticing about this stuff is that the colors that I chose for the warp are very much predominant. The color going back and forth doesn't matter a bit. Here's a section where the weft is red, and here's a section where it's pink. There's just not much difference. So I am noticing this part is orange, the weft. I'm noticing that the yarn color that I chose for the warp is what's going to be the predominant thing. So that's good to know as well. I wove it very loosely because I really want to see, because there's a specific outcome that I'm going for. Basically, I wove it like I wove this cloth before it was felted because I want the band to be very much like a piece of this. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to do this again and pay a lot of attention to the warp colors because I think it can be much prettier. So I think what's in the order of the day now is to put this all in the wash and send it through the washer and dryer and take 100 and what did we say? 154 inches of length, and I better measure the width as while I'm at it, because every time I don't measure something and felt it, I'm like, I wonder what this was before. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches. And interestingly enough, it's surprising how consistent it is. There are some variations, but it's still coming in from the beginning to the end at being very surprisingly consistent. I really thought there would be more variation, but I think maybe that's a function of having such good tension. I don't know. So we'll see. But it's time to go throw it in the wash and then see what it looks like when it comes out. Okay? This has been a fun experiment, don't you think? The funny thing about putting cloth that you've woven into the washer and the dryer is that it makes me do laundry. And I don't mind doing laundry. It's just one of those things that you do because it's kind of part of normal life. But the funny part is that when I have cloth in the washer and dryer, it's the only time I'm like, did I hear the washer stop? Did I hear the dryer stop? And then I'm running through the house going to see if it stopped so that I can take a look at the project. It's the only time I'm like passionate about laundry. So I'm going to take my laundry passion in and do a load of laundry and include this, and let's see how it turns out. Well, I've got another project started, and you can see the last yarn that came out, or the last strap that came out. There's a couple of things that I learned in the process, is that the warp yarn is the predominant thing you see when it's finished, when it's all felted up. So that really changed the way I approached warping the loom this time. And then I also discovered on the first one that I did that different yarns, even though there's some from the same company, the different colors will felt at different rates. So in this case, I have used one skein of yarn the whole way through for the weft, and you can see I'm getting close to the end. And also I noticed on the first one that I made, it was 154 inches long when it went into the washer, and when it came out it was 123 inches long. And it was 1.5 inches wide, and when it came out it was 1.25 inches wide. So this strap is 1.8 inches wide, so I think it's probably going to shrink up, probably felt up to being a little less than an inch. And I'm not sure if I've got, I don't know how many inches. It'll be kind of interesting to see how long this one is. I did it the same way that I did the other one, but there's some differences in the yarn, so it'll be interesting to see how that felts up. But you guys, this is pretty addictive. I mean, this is super addictive. It is so easy and so much fun. So I am really happy with my new Inkle loom.